Thank you for tuning in to another video. Today we're going to take a quick look at the 2022 Honda Civic Si. This car has been very controversial. Horsepower, the looks, it don't come in a coupe, a bunch of stuff. This is our first one here at my dealership, and this is the Sonic Gray color. The Si has one special color, which is blazing orange. We're not receiving one of those colors yet, but if I do, I'll probably make a video on one of those. But we're just gonna do a quick walk around and interior, exterior, what it has, what it doesn't have, some changes and stuff. And I wanted to start off on the front, one being that I don't have good lighting, and we're back here. When they first announced the SR, I made a video pretty much showing some differences and little things that Honda changed to make it different from the normal Civic. And on the prototype, it didn't have fog lights. So most people were telling me that the SIs will come with fog lights. It's just that the prototype that they used didn't have it. It's just blank, there's nothing there. And it looked like there's a fog light there too, but I'll show you on the switch where the fog light switch will be. There's nothing there. The housing is blacked out inside the headlights, and they're full LED, low beam, high beam, turn signals, all this good stuff. And the SI does have its own unique grille with the SI badging up front. It's the first thing you're gonna notice in the front. Other than that, you have to really squint your eyes to see if this is an SI that's behind you in your rear view mirror. Coming around to the wheel design. Now, most people thought that Honda was gonna give the SI its own wheel. It's pretty much the same design as the Sport, but instead of having that gloss black finish, it's more like a matte black finish. It's almost like the previous SI finish on those wheels. So you have that. You still have the same black mirror caps like the Sport has. Everything else is pretty much in the front wise is all the same. I believe some of the suspension is borrowed from the Type R, and I believe braking as well too. Bigger brakes than the normal. I gotta double check. So the SI does get a moonroof though, so that's one thing you're gonna have over the Sport. You do have smart entry, remote start. You don't have remote start. Don't listen to me. This is a manual transmission, but you do have smart entry. Coming around to the rear, so pretty much Honda just slapped on the HPD spoiler that you get with the normal sedan. Like the kit, if you add the HPD kit, you can get the spoiler. They pretty much just slap on the HPD spoiler. A lot of people actually wanted something different, but I think it gives it a good taste, because the Civic already has a built-in spoiler as it is, so adding this on top of it, kind of when you're behind it, you can tell that this is different than a normal Civic, it's an SI. And of course the red SI badging, but if you're blind and you can't see the SI badging, dual exhaust will let you know that you're behind an SI, because all the other, the Sport gets one exhaust finisher and the rest of them don't get nothing. So I feel like this is exactly what Honda does with their SIs. I'm gonna give you a good example. I have my SI right over here, and if you parked a EX or an LX or whatever next to my coupe, I mean, of course I lowered it and have wheels, and I did a few different things. On mine, you have to squint your eyes to see if mine's an SI or not. I mean, you would know by the fog lights and the SI badging and the spoiler. Other than that, Honda usually never drastically changed the SI. It's always been that way. Mine's an 8 gen, here's a 9 gen to kind of give you guys an idea too. Spoiler, you get the exhaust and wheels. And I'm gonna post a link up above me talking about what makes a Honda an SI and yada yada. So with smart entry, you just put your hand in there. There's a sensor on the back of the handle. You do not have to pull the handle to unlock for you as long as the key's nearby. And you guys can see this one gotta get PDI'd, and it's already sold. They just gotta get cleaned up and ready for the customer. One thing with the SI, Honda use like the red contrast everywhere. So on the seats, and these seats are SI specific. Honda usually have a good seat to hold you in place. I love the SI seats on my 8 gen. And you can see you have the red going down the middle, and it can fit all different types of sizes. So it's not too bolstered, but it's still not too loose where if you're going through corners, you fall out your seat, hold on to the door, yada yada. There's red stitching around the steering wheel. The SI gets its own little unique red trim around the vents and everything as well. Even on the doors, you see more red. So it's all unique to the SI. Manual seats, and SI always had manual seats, so this is nothing new. All Civics have auto pretty much auto headlights, so auto high beams, auto low beams, auto everything, so you still have that. Usually the fog lights will be a switch right here, so being that you don't have that switch, no fog lights. So jumping inside here, you can tell that these seats are a lot bolstered and hugs in place a little bit more. Super nice. Everything sounds good. Little SI, let you know like, hey, welcome to your car. Push button start, of course. Feature-wise, sits below the Touring, but above the EX. So you have a lot of EX stuff. Like I was telling you, you have a moonroof. You know, you have auto up and down windows. You don't get the Touring's full, I believe it's like a 10-inch. It's not a 10, is it 10 inch? Yeah, I believe it's a 10-inch driver display. You get the same display that's on the Sport and EX and LX. The only difference though is the SI does get their own little goodie. So there's a turbo gauge we're looking at right now. None of the other ones will have that. And then like the throttle and brake and G meter. So SI's always had these unique, I guess, racing inspired information you can view on here. You won't get this on the other vehicles. Everything else like audio, phone, and or the turbo gauge, you won't get that either. But everything else you'll have that. But you do get the Touring's 9-inch display. It's 9 point something. I'm trying to remember here, but I can't remember. You do get all of these goodies as well. And this is the same display that's in my Touring that I have. So if you like the Touring screen, you get that in here as well too. I thought it had the built-in navigation system. I guess it doesn't. So this navigation screen here is probably only for, that's interesting. So it's like a mixture. It's like you don't get the full navigation, but you do get a compass. Because I don't see navigation on here, so that's actually pretty interesting. But you do get the bigger touchscreen that the Touring gets, which is pretty cool. All the volume. The climate control knobs is still all the same. You got 2 USBs, no USB-C, they're all USB-A's. Power adapter. And the drive modes are different on the SI, so if you have Sport, you have individual and normal. So instead of having Econ, you have individual. And with individual, you can customize pretty much how the driving. So if you go to individual, it brings you to this menu. I'll hit OK, skip that, and then you press up to hold, and you can change the engine and steering pretty much. So you can have engine in Sport and steering in normal, or you can have normal, Sport, and then engine and normal. It's actually pretty cool. That's actually new for the SI, so none of the other Civics have this either, so that's actually pretty cool. And then it'll give you like a picture of the SI as well. So that's different. I like that nice little touch there. You don't get any auto dimming rearview mirror, only for the Touring. No wireless phone charger. It might be an accessory you can add on, but it don't come standard. And there's no heated seats. So usually you have heated seats on here. Now that's one thing SIs usually always have are heated seats from the previous generation. My car of course doesn't have it. But fog lights and heated seats are gone. So, you know, they made a choice. I don't know why, but they did. One thing about the shifter, it is definitely way more precise and a lot notchier and shorter than the previous generation. So when you're accelerating, a lot of people are gonna have fun. Reverse all the way to the right, and you still got a backup camera as well too, wide angle, normal, and top down. And you have cross traffic as well. So blind spot is standard on here as well. So if you get a Sport, Sport LX won't have that. So that's actually pretty cool. So you do have that. Electronic parking brake. You do have the auto stop feature. So sometimes you will come to a stop, the engine will temporarily turn off. This button is to turn it off. And remember how I said this sits between the EX and the Touring. So the EX get a normal Honda sound system, but the SI actually get the Bose sound system that's in the Touring. So that's actually pretty good. I believe it's a 12 speaker with a subwoofer. I forgot how many watts, but you know, yada yada yada. But you do get that. That's a first in an SI, so that's actually pretty different. Honda sensing is standard, so you do have adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, road departure mitigation, all those goodies. You even have a dedicated safety button right there with the little circle around the car, and it'll bring you to all your safety features right there. So you can see if you have road departure on, or blind spot, or collision braking, and those goodies as well. And then your adaptive cruise control is here, and your adaptive cruise control here, lane keep assist in here. So standard, every Civic has it now, so it's pretty good. When you get to the back seats don't have no red back here. You see the Bose system, but one of the speakers. But yeah, no red in the middle. You still have red stitching, but that's pretty much it. So Honda said, you know what, who cares about we're sitting back in the back seat. You see all the red and all the good stuff is up front, but you really don't have anything in the back. which is still fine. You know, you have LED interior lights, which is pretty cool. I had to use a kit to get that from myself. So you got that. So it doesn't have the one touch open like the Touring does, where it opens all the way for you. But still plenty of space. Seats do fold down. Get out. Seats fold down. And they split as well. You get regular floor mats as well. You don't have to pay for it. This is the only one we're gonna get for 2021. The next SI should be here, I'll say somewhere in January, February. And then that one's already pre-sold. And then we have one more that should probably be here March, April. That's not pre-sold yet, but that one is available. I'm not gonna drive this one because this one is sold. I'm not gonna drive somebody's car, you know. I'll turn on the headlights for you guys so you can see the LEDs. At nighttime, they're really bright. I do wish Honda added fog lights on these guys, but I don't know if you guys noticed, fog lights is kind of dying. Like most of these performance cars or sports cars or whatever are deleting fog lights. So I guess that might be a thing of the past. So I don't know. You can see the camera up there for the Honda sensing. But overall, it's exactly what I expect the SI to be. It does have 200 horsepower, so it's 5 horsepower lower than the previous generation, but it's funner to drive. So Honda pretty much changed up the steering, the suspension, and just overall drive. And you guys probably watch a bunch of people review this car and test drive it and love how it drives. It's very planted, and torque, I guess, kicks in a little bit more earlier than the previous generation, so it feels faster. Even though it's less horsepower, it feels faster. And Honda was able to kind of tweak the car to make it, you know, drive pretty good. One big thing I actually forgot to tell you guys, you do get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. So that's a big deal. I have it in my Touring Civic, I love it. And it's cool that they added that to the SI, because there's a few touring features that the SI gets, and there's a lot of additional features that the Canadian version gets that we don't get. But I guess Honda thinks that here in the States, we're more focused on the drive of the SI. I don't know. It makes sense though why ours is kind of stripped down, because if you did wanted a loaded SI, you get the Integra. The new Acura Integra, it's the same powertrain. It's pretty much a touring Civic. So if you did wanted this, but more features, then you have the Integra. I mean, if you don't like the looks of the Integra, then I don't know what to tell you. So you guys know SI means sport injected. So I feel like Honda did a good job of taking a normal Civic, injected a little sport in it. I mean, that's what it is. This is gonna be way more fun to drive than a manual hatchback. You're gonna have more power. Like I said, you're gonna have a little bit more goodies on there. You do not buy one of these because it's the fastest car in the world. SIs were never fast. They were always fun to drive, and here we go, we got one here. So I'm gonna end everything here. Appreciate you guys for checking in. If I get a blazing orange Pro, I will definitely do a walk around on that color, because that's gonna be a color that dealerships are probably won't get as, it won't be as common. I mean, black, white, and all these other colors, Sonic Gray probably be more common than blazing orange Pro, but it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.